In this channel, we bring you the freshest discussions taking place in Japan's online community.
According to the 2020 census in China, the total population of the country was approximately 1,417.8 million, making it the world's most populous country. However, predictions suggest that due to population decline, the population will decrease significantly in a short period. Looking at the total population in 2100, it's estimated to be 684.05 million, indicating a nearly halving over 80 years.
Even if it halves, that's still about 700 million, lol. Complain after it drops to 1/10. By that time, Chinese will be like Japanese. They still talk about 1 billion people making only 40,000 yen a month. Yeah, so for instance, if we assume the average income in developed countries is 5 times that, at 200,000 yen a month, then having 15 of the 1 billion would make 200 million the appropriate population. For the CCP, anything is possible, like forced births or mass-producing clone humans. Who's going to raise clone babies when there's no money? Maybe as countries develop, their populations naturally decrease. I always thought goblins and Chinese people breed endlessly, running away from people with rational thoughts. Like Russia, makes it even more serious. If Japan takes in Chinese people, it'll recover. Maybe it's time to establish countries based on ethnicity. It's like civil war over coastal areas. China's situation is somewhat the opposite of Japan's, where urban areas are still producing, while rural areas aren't, so the economic impact might be different. Population decline is happening worldwide, so it's not a big deal. It's just nature's way of population control. Having the population seems like too much exaggeration. With some mysterious virus, half will be wiped out in 25 years. The future was set the moment they implemented the one-child policy. If you don't raise children properly, it becomes a problem spanning generations. Why do so many idiots believe China's announced population figures? Everything China announces is a lie. Don't forget that it's all nonsense. The whole world will be filled with Islamic immigrants, and the earth will be taken over by Islam. Islam is actually decreasing lately. Only Africa remains. Seems like no one can beat humanity's ancestors. So, wouldn't 200 million be a more appropriate population for China? Now's the biggest chance to attack Japan. Unlike Taiwan, Japan can be conquered without using force. It's already heavily fragmented. The number of Chinese residents in China might decrease, but it keeps increasing in Japan. There are too many Chinese people in Japan getting married and having children. Are they paying taxes properly? Aren't they paying taxes to China? Well, Japan is also facing population decline. Japan will turn around and start increasing once it hits rock bottom. As long as we don't bring in immigrants, it's not a problem. They're not even counting properly. No, South Korea will disappear before that. As long as 100 million Chinese survive, it's fine. China's economic growth was mostly investment-driven. With the current population, it messed up the economy, and will have to pay off its debts with a smaller population, so there's no future. Even if it halves, it's still a sufficient population to sustain the nation. The more serious issue is the skewed population by age. Due to the continued one-child policy, there will be a period in the future where there are extremely few active generations to support each elderly person. Since it's a socialist country, they could probably discard the elderly easily. That's something different from Japan. Exactly because it's socialist, it's not that easy to discard them. China can do anything if it wants, like they did throughout history. Whenever a dynasty change, Since it's a country that pushed through the one-child policy, they'll probably figure something out. Maybe they'll implement policies like forced mass births, similar to joint weddings. Humanity is heading towards extinction due to population decline. Well, 7 million years isn't bad. Didn't quite reach the dinosaurs level though. It's serious because it's from the Chinese government. It's getting pretty dire. Japan's the same, though. This applies not only to China but to the rest of the world as well. When a country experiences rapid population growth, there's a backlash. Egypt, for example, had 20 million people in the 1960s. Will the common people decline before becoming affluent? What happened to the talk about becoming a superpower, surpassing America around 2050? During the peak of the one-child policy, it was intense. It's said that community workers would visit households and force abortions for second or subsequent children. With that, having many children became seen as a crime. Since it's China, why not implement a policy to force having 5 children? It's still 2024, there's time. This is what happens when you dip even slightly into capitalist free trade. But it's fine. If the whole world experiences declining birth rates, it's good for the Earth. We don't need 9 billion people. The amount of CO2 humanity emits is peaking now, and it'll decrease drastically from now on.
Did you find this video interesting? We'll keep bringing you fun topics from Japan's online community. Please subscribe to the channel and drop some comments.